Evening, the North Richfield City Council meeting is now in session. Today's date, May the 4th, 2020. Please rise for the invocation of pledge of allegiance. Father, we come in prayer this evening and ask for your strength and guidance as we navigate through these uncharted waters. Please keep in mind the prayers of those people who need it the most, those who have been affected by this virus. Help us also keep in mind those who are frontline people who deal with people face to face every day. In your name we pray, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under liberty and justice for all. Clerk, please call the roll.
Swank.
Here.
Booth.
Here.
David.
Here.
Winkle.
Here.
Moan.
Here.
Molesky.
Here.
DeVries.
Here.
Mayor.
Here.
Service Director.
Here.
Law Director.
Here.
Engineer.
Here.
Auditor.
Here.
Clerk of Council. Here.
Thank you. Next item up, we have the minutes. You'll see them before you. First off, we have the City Council meeting minutes of April the 20th, 2020. Are there any changes or corrections? Hearing none, those minutes are approved. We also have before us the Board of Zoning and Appeals meeting of April the 23rd, 2020, as well as the Tax Abatement Review Board meeting minutes of May the 1st, 2020. Those minutes are also approved. It now takes us to the lobby session. Anyone who would like to participate in our meeting is welcome to do so. As we've stated in the past, we are now at a new normal where we're helping people get online and ask questions and be part of that process. As you'll notice, if you go to nridgeville.org, there are instructions on how to get involved. It will take you through, if you go to the council part of the web page, it'll give you instructions from there. There's a YouTube page where you can get involved and reach out and ask your questions, and we'll do the best we can to do so. With that, we do give you 3 minutes to address council and the mayor's administration. We ask that you state your name for the record, and at that point, we will give you 3 minutes to address council and administration. So hearing that, we're going to pause for a moment and wait for the assistant clerk to see if there's anybody who is in the lobby session this evening. I will also mention that Councilwoman Owen is with us remotely, even though you don't see her presently. She is also very involved in the process too. So thank you for being here this evening.
There is a comment from JD Gontofsky at 34823 Cambridge Drive. Do we have an asphalt street resurfacing list? Hope I'm not spoiling anyone's report.
Thank you, JD. I will refer that to Mr. Engineer Rodriguez, if he can comment on whether or not we have a list of streets that are scheduled to be repaired in the near future. Mr. Engineer.
For the chair, I will refer that down. At this point in time, we do not have one that I've seen. I think we're still working on that with the passage of our street levy last week. We were kind of waiting until that hit so we'd be able to finalize that list with that passage last week. I don't believe that item has been certified by the board yet. So I'll pass anything further on to the mayor at this point. But at this point, we do not have one.
Very good. Thank you. Mr. Mayor, would you like to add to that?
Nope, that is true. Right now, we haven't developed the list.
Very good. Thank you. Assistant Clerk, are there any further comments from Mr. Gronkowski?
None at this time. No additional comments are noted.
Thank you for your participation, JD. We appreciate it. Are there any other members waiting in the lobby to address the council?
Nothing as of yet.
We'll pause for another 30 seconds to see if somebody jumps in, and now we'll move on. Okay, is there anyone else?
No, sir.
All right, hearing none, we will move on to the next item of our agenda, which will bring us to administrative reports. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I'd like to point out that the community, specifically the voters, endorsed or supported in the past the issues 5, 6, and 7, police, fire, and streets levies. And we're extremely grateful to the community for that support. It allows us to continue for the next 5 years, obtain those monies necessary to run those different departments, police and fire, and then also the levy, the street levy money goes to local roads. So all of those services will be continuing for years to come, and it just helps North Ridgeville be a great place to live, work, and play. Our police department partners with Ring. If you haven't heard, different communities have partnered with Ring, allowing the police department to share information that they can use to reduce crime. Gives you the opportunity to share your videos directly with the police department. You don't need to have a Ring device to participate, as anyone can upload content from their camera system to the Neighbors app. And if you'd like more information on that, please visit the city's website at nridgeville.org. On tonight's agenda, under first readings, is T63, an ordinance cooperating with the Director of the Ohio Department of Transportation for the interchange lighting upgrade and replacement project at the intersection of State Route 10 and alternate State Route 83. I'm requesting that we dispense with the second and third readings for that and move to add the emergency clause in order to meet ODOT's deadline of May 11th. And lastly, I'd like to just touch on the finances of the city. As you can imagine, given the coronavirus, we have all been impacted, not only in our personal lives, but the city as well. There are many different ways that the city is negatively impacted by the coronavirus and the basically shutdown of the entire economy for several weeks. That ranges anything from RETA income tax collections to things that you wouldn't even imagine, like hotel tax or just the businesses that have been closed for several weeks. You know, North Ridgeville is a unique community. It's made up of employees for the most part instead of employers. We don't have a general industry that dominates us like a North Olmsted, for example, with all this retail. So unfortunately, that leads to a lot less information that we are able to act upon. But we did get some guidance from RETA that we are projected to be down about $1.1 million. And once we received that information, I had asked the department heads to reduce their budgets by 20%. And you know, that's easier said than done for some departments. And they did take on that task, and some were able to do more than others. But given the efforts that they went through, they were able to shave a significant amount of money off the budget that we can either push back or just eliminate for this year. So it's not a perfect solution to what we have, but we're going to move forward with that information combined with waiting for the next steps of financial information that should be revealed around the middle of May. And from there, we'll be able to make some more decisions. We talked about different scenarios, and if you're paying attention to the media at all, several communities have already made some moves because they have some better information to deal with. I mentioned North Olmsted, for example, with all their retail being out for over a month, they can pretty much guarantee that they're going to be hit hard and deep. And so they had to make moves faster than us. So, you know, we're on top of it. We're continuing to watch it, and we're going to keep on top of it. We'll move when we have some more information. That's the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know there's been some questions by the council members as to when we can get together. So we're understanding in the middle of May, there should be updated information that we can digest and sit down and analyze at that point. Thank you. Mr. Safety Director.
Over the last several weeks, when everybody's staying at home, they have certainly noticed the railroad quiet zone is not quiet. And so not only is city council administration, but railroads have gotten the road has gotten telephone calls as to when is this going to be fixed. And it is part of an overall, unfortunately, probably will not be completely done until the middle of June, if everything goes appropriately. I know that some of the city councilmen are getting more and more phone calls with regards to this. I know on Sunday morning about 7 o'clock or 6:45, I hear the train. It's evident there's no truck traffic from the Ohio Turnpike at that time in the morning. It's kind of slowed down, and you hear the train chugging through, and it doesn't chug, it toots its horn, and probably at 60, 70 mile an hour as it's going through West Ridgeville. And it seems like it's just one long horn, but it's 3 shorts and a long, and that's what you hear every Sunday morning and all day long. I wish there was a way that we could hurry them up, but there is not. They are doing the best that I believe they can based on their crews. If you notice, the railroad ties or the track is there. They're in 14-foot lengths. It's all set and ready to go. They just got to get the track crew here through North Ridgeville, and it appears as though they're going to go all the way from the Elyria border all the way through Chestnut Bridge with the new rail. And when it is done, it's going to be quiet and the horns will not blow. Let's hope. So that completes my report this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Safety Director. Mr. Engineer.
Thank you, Council President. Just a couple of updates on Center Ridge Road. Excuse me. All the side roads that were closed for the last 2 weeks at this point are scheduled to be paved this week. So Cornell, North Veronego, Ridge Plaza, and Ridgeview Boulevard, paving on those side streets is to begin this week. I believe they are, or were putting up some curb and gutter sections today on those streets. They're the last tie-in for water service on Center Ridge Road on the new water main should have been done today. If it wasn't done today, it will be done tomorrow. That line will now be fully active, so we can begin to realign our water usage in the city. That'll be that's pretty much it for Center Ridge Road right now. We got started on Ranger Way, and we got snagged on a couple of utilities right out the gate. So last week we had some fiber optic cable that our contractor ran into, which caused our fire station to be out of service for, at least for the internet anyways, for a certain period of time. That is back in service, and we are fully back online at our fire station. They were down for about 3 days without internet and without internet service or phone service because our phones are ran on the internet. So with that being said, we're moving right along, but we do have some soils issues out there. So we'll be working with the contractor and our design engineer to get through some of that issue. We do have to cross some utilities, and we are making some design changes to be able to avoid those utilities so that it will save us money on our contract. So we're working through that, and things are going well. And I think the project will still end up either at budget or under budget, but there are some snags out the gate. That concludes my report for this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Engineer. Ms. Auditor.
Good evening. I just wanted to give a brief update on the annual audit. Typically, the audit is due to be completed by May 30th to the auditor state. That deadline has been extended an additional 30 days. As you can imagine, with a lot of people working from home, including our audit firm, there have been some delays with getting back out and completing the audit. So the additional 30 days is definitely appreciated. And also, I sent each of you the March 2020 financial report today. If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Auditor. Next up, we have other reports. We have the February 2020 Police Department report. We have the March 2020 Building Department report. We have the March 2020 Police Department report, as well as the 2019 Annual Tax Abatement Review Board report. That will bring us to recess.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Winkle.
I'd like to make a motion to suspend recess.
Second.
It was moved by Winkle, seconded by Molesky to dispense with the recess session. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Very good. And that will take us to first readings. Clerk? T62.
T62, 2020, an ordinance enacting and adopting a supplement to the Code of Ordinances for the City of North Ridgeville, Ohio.
T63.
T63, 2020, PID number 104158, project name D03LGFY 2020, an ordinance cooperating with the Director of the Ohio Department of Transportation for the interchange lighting upgrade and replacement project.
Mr. President,
And go ahead and dispense with the second and third reading.
I'll second.
It was moved by DeVries, seconded by Hung, to dispense with the second and third reading. Any questions or comments? All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed? Very good.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Winkle.
motion to adopt.
Second.
President,
Yes,
motion to add in the emergency clause to make our May 11th deadline with ODOT.
Second.
it was moved by Winkle, seconded by Hung, to add the emergency clause to T63 for the reasons stated earlier by the mayor. Any questions or concerns? All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? It was then moved by Winkle, seconded by Hung, to adopt T63 with the emergency clause for the reasons stated. Any final comments? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swank,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Avens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Hung,
Yes.
Molesky,
Yes.
DeVries.
Yes,
The ordinance passes and becomes ordinance 5738.
we will move on to second readings. That will bring us to T49.
T49, 2020, an ordinance amending the NRCO section 144606, written notice of renovation hearings and appeals.
We go to third readings. T57.
T57, 2020, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with the Torrey Farms, Inc. for the purchase of 2 parcels of vacant land in the amount of $6,900 plus any additional costs such as customary closing costs.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Avens.
Move to adopt.
second.
It was moved by Avens, seconded by Hung, to adopt T57. Are there any final comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swain,
Yes.
Booth.
Yes.
Avens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Hung,
Yes.
Molesky,
Yes.
DeVries.
Yes,
The ordinance passes unanimously and becomes ordinance 5739, 2020.
T58.
T58, 2020, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with All Purpose Construction, Inc. for the purchase of a parcel of vacant land in the amount of $9,300 plus any additional costs such as customary closing costs.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Avens.
move to adopt.
Second.
It was moved by Avens, seconded by Hung, to adopt T58. Are there any final comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swank,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Avens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Hung,
Yes.
Molesky,
Yes.
DeVries.
Yes,
The motion carries unanimously and becomes ordinance 5740, 2020.
And that will bring us to meeting announcements. The next regular council meeting will be held Monday, May 18th, 2020 at 7:30 PM right here at City Council Chambers. Are there any final comments or questions? Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.